Rotate so that you're facing over towards your right knee and find, and we'll go do those poses to the other side. Bring it into our baby wild thing. Right hand goes down on the mat for support. Crescent, breathe out. And as you inhale, come all the way forward. Bring your hips down on the mat into a little cobra stretch. And then exhale, press. Walk your hands a couple inches forward to widen your stance. Shift your hips left. Grab that left leg over the right before final resting pose. So straightening ourselves out on the mat, taking up space with the arms, sitting up tall, palms can join with the hearts. Thank you so much everyone for doing this. Letting it flow, make me feel really good and ready to
you can see this one I made directly inside the square, but so I did now the first row, which is basically 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1, and then we're gonna continue to the third corner and fourth corner. It's just the same thing as we did before, and I'm gonna see you at the end of the row. And now, since we are finished here at the part where there's no corner, into this chain space here, no chain in between, okay? And then we're gonna continue as usual, make this little stitch.
고등학생이 왔어? 먹어봐. 계속 줄 거야.
This Fanny. What is this fish panda? This is ananas. 다 자를까? 그럼 젓가락으로 먹자. Makan sweet
그렇지, 그렇지.
Nhiều cái nào ra một sao hai này kéo dài nhé. Này, hai Kati mami neta.
아빠 줄게.
나 이거 안 잘라서 뭐
너도 큰 거?